I used to be convinced that my greatest struggle was a curse, something that was meant to completely break me. For a long time, I thought it had won. I was sure some cosmic mistake had been made, that my life had taken a wrong turn down a dark road with no way out. But what if the most unbearable pain in your life isn't your enemy? What if it's the only thing that can truly teach you how to live? That single question changed everything for me. It's why I'm here, talking to you today. Because I discovered that my deepest wound wasn't my end, it was my beginning. For me, the curse had a name: failure. And not the quiet, private kind. I'm talking about a loud, spectacular, public flameout. I had poured years of my life, every ounce of my energy, and my entire identity into a single venture. It wasn't just a job. I honestly thought it was my purpose. And then, in what felt like a split second, it imploded. The details don't matter as much as the feeling. It was the feeling of standing in the rubble of my own life, smoke still stinging my eyes, realizing I had built everything on a fault line. The silence that followed was deafening. My phone just stopped ringing. My calendar, which used to be a source of pride, became a blank page that mocked me, a daily reminder that I was now irrelevant. The shame was a physical weight, like a heavy coat I couldn't take off. I started avoiding people, not because I didn't like them, but because I couldn't stand the look in their eyes, that mix of pity and morbid curiosity. I could almost hear the whispers, "Whatever happened to him?" It felt like I was a ghost haunting the edges of my own life. My days just bled into one another, marked only by a sun I barely saw. My world shrank to the four walls of my apartment. I replayed every mistake, every wrong turn, every single decision that led to the crash. My thoughts became this toxic loop where I just beat myself up over and over, which offered no answers, only more pain. I was convinced that I was fundamentally broken, that the failure wasn't just something that happened to me, but something that I was asterisk. It felt like it was branded on my soul. This was, without a doubt, the darkest period of my life. I felt totally and completely alone, believing my pain was unique and that I'd never get over it. We've all been there in one way or another, haven't we? Stuck in a story where we're the victim, where life is just something happening asterisk to asterisk us. For me, the story was clear. I'd been judged and the verdict was failure. I believed that pain was my life sentence. There is a point where constant pain stops feeling like sharp stabs and just becomes the air you breathe. It's just there, a dull background hum of despair. I'd been living in that hum for months, maybe even a full year. I wasn't getting better. I was just getting used to the darkness. And that's what scared me the most, the numbness, the fact that I was starting to accept it. The turning point wasn't some dramatic movie-like moment. No lightning strike, no tearful 2 a.m. phone call. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I was sitting on the edge of my bed, staring at a pile of laundry that had basically become a monument to my paralysis. The sun was streaming through the window, catching little dust motes dancing in the air. And I remember feeling an anger so pure, it burned right through the fog I'd been living in. It wasn't anger at anyone else. It was anger at myself. Anger at the fact that I had just surrendered. I was so tired. Tired of the reruns playing in my head. Tired of the shame. Tired of being the main character in my own tragedy. The pain had become so huge, so all-consuming, that for the first time, the idea of staying this way was even more terrifying than the idea of trying to change. And in that moment of complete and utter exhaustion, a different kind of thought surfaced. It wasn't loud, it was just a whisper. You can't just numb everything. If you numb the sadness, you numb the joy too. And then came the question that unraveled it all. What if this didn't happen to you? What if it happened for you? It was such a radical, almost absurd idea. To think that this soul-crushing, life-derailing disaster was somehow a gift? It felt insane. And yet, it was the first truly new thought I'd had in a year. That little shift thinking it happened for me, not to me, didn't magically erase the pain. But it changed my relationship with it. For the first time, I wasn't just a victim of my circumstances. I was a student. The pain wasn't a punishment. It was the curriculum. And my life was the classroom. It was a tiny shift, but it changed everything. It was the moment I stopped being the victim in my own story. If the pain was my teacher, then I had to start showing up for class. This wasn't about positive thinking or pretending the failure didn't hurt. It was about digging into the mess and trying to find some meaning in it. I had to look at the rubble not as a gravesite, but as a construction site. The pain was my raw material. So I started small. I did the laundry. The next day, I went for a walk outside. These weren't goals. They were just little experiments in living again. Instead of running from my thoughts, I started writing them down, not to judge them, but just to see them for what they were. That practice of just observing my thoughts without getting swept away, which I now know is a form of mindfulness, was a game changer. Slowly, I began to see what the pain was trying to teach me. The failure had stripped me of my identity, sure, but it showed me that my identity was built on something fragile and external to begin with. My entire sense of self-worth was tied to my achievements. The pain forced me to find a foundation that couldn't be shaken by the outside world. And in that process, I learned more about myself than I ever thought possible. I realized the same ambition that drove me to succeed was what made me so terrified of failure. The pain taught me the difference between striving for something and just seeking approval, between building a real life and just curating an image. I started reaching out to the few friends who had stuck by me, not to complain, but to really connect. I learned that my story, with all its messages, could actually help other people feel less alone. In those conversations, I found that sharing my vulnerability didn't make me weaker. It made my relationships deeper and more real. My compassion for others grew because I finally understood on a gut level the silent battles that everyone is fighting. This journey isn't just my story. It's the story of human resilience. We see it in people who survive something awful and find a new appreciation for every single day. We see it in those who grow up with nothing and learn that the grit it takes to survive can build an empire. Their stories and mine are proof of what researchers call post-traumatic growth. It's the idea that facing adversity doesn't just build you back to where you were. It can build you forward into someone stronger and more capable than you ever imagined. You start to appreciate life more, even the small things. I wouldn't wish the pain I went through on anyone, but I would never trade the person I became because of it. My greatest struggle wasn't a curse. It was a crucible. It burned away everything that wasn't essential. It melted down my ego, my pride, and my fear, and in their place, it forged a strength I never knew I had. The pain wasn't a roadblock, it was the path itself. It taught me that we don't heal asterisk from asterisk our experiences. We heal asterisk through asterisk them by making them a part of our story. We are not defined by what breaks us. We are defined by how we choose to rebuild. The most profound transformations are born from our deepest wounds. Your pain is not a sign that you're weak. It's a signal. It's an invitation to grow, a sacred invitation to live more fully. It's the raw material for the person you are still becoming. So, I want to ask you, what is the pain in your life that you then treating as a curse? The failure, the heartbreak, the loss? And what would happen if, just for a moment, you dared to ask if it might be happening asterisk for asterisk you? What if you started to see it as the teacher you never knew you needed? Share your story in the comments below. Not for me, but for the next person who reads it and needs to know they're not alone. Your pain has a purpose. It's time to discover what it's trying to teach you.